What we're going to talk about on this video, I'm going to try and get a couple things talked about. One is the range of motion of the rocker on the intake side for between the 5.7 and the 6.1 head. Now, I want to touch on the oiling aspect of things again, just a little bit here. What we got there, if you can see it, we got the rocker mounted on the side. Here are the these two feed holes are the two feed holes for the push rod. All right, I got a little mark there and I got a little mark on there. So when the rocker is in its static position, I don't know if you can see the mark right there. When it's at the static position, the bottom hole lines up with the push rod cup. Now, the top hole doesn't line up with full lift. I mean, that's where it would be at full lift. And let's face it, none of us are getting that much lift out of one of these things. I mean, there would be just beyond coil bind, and it's just total and absolute insanity, which is one of the reasons why I do like to groove these. All right. Now, another thing about that is I've seen a couple people, I've talked to a couple people who have actually put shims to raise the rocker up, or they raise the rocker shaft up. It's really not a good idea. All right. Because what you wind up doing is you put the rocker shaft and the rocker arm in an odd position, in a non-factory oriented position. So what you wind up doing is you wind up starving it, and then you burn your tips. So that's your contact at zero height. Now if we move it to right about, I mean, because right there you're looking at, let me go grab the mic calipers. All right, bear with me here. So if we go a fictional 710 off the seat, all right, which there is no cam that you're going to get a 710 lift out of, because we wind up running out of a lifter bore. But that's a 710 lift. I mean, if you throw a lash cap on there, you're still going to have plenty of contact. So, be that as it may, you guys follow me. All right, last video talked about how that hole there corresponds with that hole there. That's static. I was wrong. I realized it after I did the video the other day. That's at static, all right? Make sure we got the right valve in there. All right, that's where the hole, these three marks correspond with the holes in the shaft, all right? So at static, that hole is slightly off. Now, we line that hole up, that works out to roughly 500 lift, all right? Which, again, is why I like the banana groove them. Now, let's talk about the oiling for a bit. What we got right here, obviously, is the head section. There are 4 oil holes, oil passages in the block that feed the heads. When they come up through, corresponding with this groove here in the bottom of the head. When you mill these heads, you should deepen this groove, the amount that you wind up milling it. So if you're going to mill it 30 thousandths, make sure you deepen that groove. For sake of discussion, if you wanted to make this groove a 1/2 inch deep, this one right here, you could. There is nothing above there. Nothing at all above there. So if you wanted to, you know, go 1/4 inch deep just to be sure, that's fine. So what happens is The oil comes up, rides through this groove passage here, goes up through the head bolt, and then picks up here, and then feeds the rocker shafts. Alright. Alright, last thing I'm going to do is actually talk about range of motion. This is a 6-1 head. Alright. This piece of plastic was cut to 0.66. The reason I chose 0.66 is with the stock body lifters. That's the highest we can go and lift at the valve. I'll have a video explaining that later on. Alright, so right now, alright, so up off the seat to about, right about there, 660 lift. And that is what we have in the way of rocker tip, the valve, contact. If you're going to go that high, you really need a lash cap. I don't have a lash cap here to explain it and to show you why. That's with the 6-1 head. Now, I put that little mark there. That mark is roughly 560 lift. All right. And that's what kind of contact you have at 560 lift without a lash cap. So let's get this thing out of the way before it all falls apart, like this one just did. Probably out of the view. Yay. All right. So this is the eagle head. Same piece of 660 paper. Open up to right about there. That's our 660 lift. And that's what you got in the way of contact with the eagle head. You don't need a lash cap with the eagle head. Now, in the next video, we'll discuss how you can get away with using slightly longer valve to get better contact. See what I mean? We'll deal with that later. All right? Have a safe one.